and welcome to episode 55 of Series 3 of Master League Story Mode. Before we get back into this incredible streak of wins that Bristol City have been on, there's Ian Holloway there. We don't get to see enough of Ian Holloway. I was pretty happy with that likeness when we set this up, but yeah, obviously he's very pleased with the winning streak we're on, as am I. Tami Abraham is top of the goal rankings, and speaking of Tami, who we sort of dedicated last episode to, didn't we? Speaking of Tami, well, some of you may have seen this in the comments section of the last episode, but I've got to give this a shout out now to commenter Tenkabi. So he went back through Tami Abraham's entire Bristol City career in this series, and he had a look at some of the stats, a bit of a breakdown. In the last episode, I mentioned, or I alluded to, Tami Abraham being very much just a tap-in merchant, a fox-in-the-box sort of striker, and obviously Tenkabi thought, I'm going to have a look at the stats, do some number crunching of my own and find that out. And I'm really sorry, but I haven't had the time, and I won't have the time to whack this into an Excel spreadsheet and pull out some graphs. But what I will take you through are Tami's grand total stats so far that Tenkabi pulled out. So basically, in the 50 goals that he has scored for Bristol City in the last 3 seasons, bearing in mind that he actually had a long period out with injury in the first season, and he maybe has struggled to adjust to the Premier League, but he's obviously playing very well now, top scorer. So of these 50 goals, 25% of them were headed goals. Looking at his stats, I mean, he does have 80 header. He's not got the biggest jump, but he's a big lad, 190 centimetres. He's dominated in the air. Obviously, headers in this iteration of PES, some people say are overpowered. I maybe tend to agree. He certainly had no problems scoring his fair share from there, but only a quarter. I was surprised actually how few that was. He does score a lot of good goals with his feet. Interestingly, 66% of his goals, included headed goals, were from one touch. So well over half of his goals are tap-ins, are fox-in-the-box manoeuvres. And that is backed up by another stat, which is 8.64% of his goals were scored after taking a touch outside of the box. Does that make sense? I think I've summed that up right. Basically, he does his work in the box. That's where you want him. I mean, looking at his stats, you can see that actually he's got a few deficiencies. A few major deficiencies. His passing is poor. His dribbling and ball control are pretty poor as well. But the key things here, and why he is able to be such a fox in the box, are his attacking prowess and his finishing, which has improved. But 80 attacking prowess means that he gets in the right positions, and his explosive power for a man of his size is really high at 85, and that is a big factor as well. So Tenkabi went to finish this incredible load of stats, and I suggest if you want to see it in more detail, you go back to the last episode, check the comments. I pinned it to the top. It's worth a look. There's even more detail in there that I'm so sad I don't have time to go into now. But he suggests that although Tami does appear to be, a Ruud van Nistelrooy sort of figure for our side, in the right place at the right time, scoring the easy goals, that actually he's got a little bit more to him, and it's easy just to see him as a tap-in merchant, as I've alluded to. But in fact, he maybe could pull out a bit more given the chance, and I actually would go to agree with you there. And the final thing that Tenkabi did was pull out a few of his favourite goals of Tami Abraham. So we'll take a look at a couple of these now with the original commentary. And yeah, as you can see, he's got a range of finishes in him that maybe we forget he has. Outside to Engvall. He's got Tomlin at the far post. Tomlin puts it back into Abraham, who decides to header it. Oh, the back heel from Abraham! Tami Abraham. That is absolutely gorgeous. And that is 2-0. The in-swinger. Abraham's made a good run. He gets there. Tami Abraham gets his goal. Thank fuck for that. Oh, that's a lovely ball. Pack now can find Abraham through the centre. Can Engvall make the right run here? Still Tami Abraham. Still Abraham. Still Tami Abraham. Oh! Oh, still. So thank you, Tenkabi. Really great analysis. Always appreciated anything like that. It just makes this series worthwhile for me. The comments that I get from you, as detailed as that or as simple as just you're the best YouTuber in the world, never ever stop. That's what keeps me going. So thank you to you all, and thank you especially Tenkabi, who is now chief analyst for Bristol City and Ian Holloway this season. Absolutely. So with that out of the way, let's get into the first game of the episode. We're up against Southampton. We're at home. Let's have a look at the sides for today. Okay, we've got some worrying form issues today. Kieran Dowell on a downward arrow. Do we bring in De Jong on a blue arrow? Long-term commenter Matt Whelan in the last episode commented that De Jong should be out in January. Well, I'm going to give the youngster a chance to prove Matt wrong today. He is on a blue arrow. Kieran Dowell could do with a little bit of a rest, so we'll see how he does today. I'm going to leave in Gomez there. And I'm going to bring in Nige. Big Nige up front for Fred Friday. Play him alongside Tami. See if De Jong, who, although he's lacking in a few areas, he's a good passer. He's a good all-round attacking midfielder and only 21. I'd like to see him improve. The question is, can we improve on him if we do sell him? Probably. But we'll give him a chance today. Up against Southampton, which is a side that we have struggled with massively in the past. Charlie Austin and Shane Long, really hard to play against. It's a good side. I think we just about overcame them after coming back from a few goals down the last time we played them. They have signed Dimitri Payet, but it doesn't look like he's going to be playing, which is a good thing. So can we keep the hype train rolling? Can Bristol City continue to win, even in these difficult games against teams like Southampton? Well, this will be the true test for our form. They're always a bogey side for us. It's these mid-table, mid-difficulty teams that defend strongly, but then have the clinical strikers up front to really test us. These are the ones that can hurt, so we're going to need a big performance. Oh, that's poor from Boufal. Oh, but Marty has it nicked off him by Shane Long. Charlie Austin with a good first touch, chips it in, looking for James Ward-Prowse. Gomez comes across and deals with it. Fucking hell, what was that? No, what? Oh my God. I have no clue what happened there. That was a defensive miscommunication of the absolute highest order. Go for it. Take it. Oh. How? Oh. Gabriel blunders again. Is it Gabriel and Gomez who were responsible for the last massive blunder, wasn't it? Gomez thought that Gabriel was coming for it, and then Angelino couldn't get there ahead of Shane Long, for fuck's sake, and then Gabriel did have the chance to save it. Oh dear. This is exactly what happened last time we played Southampton. We went a goal down instantly. Angelino over this one. Here's Amati making the run. Amati hits it from distance. Good hit there. Loftus-Cheek will push it up into... Oh, that's an awful cross from Loftus-Cheek. Nice turn by Roberta, but Fonte straight through the back of him. Loftus-Cheek gives the foul away, but Boufal brings it forward. Shane Long, the goal scorer, steps inside. Gomez this time. Much more confident. Nice footwork. And Becker goes in early to Abraham. He looked to slip it down the line to Roberta. Should have the straight... Oh, Jose Font with a great tackle there. Roberta looked to just push it inside of him. Now Roberta looks to stretch his legs through the middle. He's got Roster making a good run down the left-hand side. Hoberg with him. Back to Angelino. He's got time to look up. Get the cross in. Roberta off the post. Can't keep it in. Oh, that should have been the first goal of the game there. The Dutchman cursing himself. The rebound fell to him. Lovely ball in from Angelino. Nicely flicked header. That's a great reflex save. Marty into De Jong. To spread it wide into Angelino. Goes first time into Roberta. Oh, lovely footwork from Roberta here. To take Suarez on for pace. And now Roberta goes to the line. Can he get the cut back here for Loftus-Cheek? It's not a convincing finish on his left foot. But it's great work there from Nigel Roberta. As Big Nige dances through the defence. We never really truly utilise his pace enough. That was a great example there. As if we pin his ears back, get his head down, push it to the line. So few people can live with his pace. And he did well there to pick out Loftus-Cheek. Abraham stepped over it. He obviously got the call from the central midfielder. And we're evens here. And we certainly deserved it. Fighting back hard. The home team embarrassed in the first few minutes. Oh, Roberta's nicked it back now. Can he find Abraham through the centre? Abraham looks to hit it first time with the left foot. Great save there by Forster. And Southampton get it away as this first half draws to a close. It's a pretty good game, really. We've played our way back into it really well, considering the embarrassment of the first goal. But it looks like Southampton could have one more chance here before the first half is over. Suarez to Davis, edge of the box. Roster gets a big, heavy shoulder in on him. And that will be half-time. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Once again, we've embarrassed ourselves against Southampton. Last time, it was Charlie Austin who scored a goal within about 30 seconds. This time, another defensive mix-up. I don't know if Gomez was trying to speak Brazilian and Gabriel was trying to speak English to Joe Gomez, but either way, there was a massive communication breakdown, and we've given away a goal that was just not necessary. And that was their only shot on target as well. That's nice. Joe Gomez needed to be efficient there. Roberta looks to use his pace again to get to the line. Oh, the roulette inside. That's a referee. That was a foul there. Magnusson. Great stuff. Goes down the line looking for Roberta. Steps back inside. The cross is there looking for De Jong. His header will find Abraham. Hits it with the left foot. Forster with a good save. De Jong over this one is good from set pieces with Kieran Dowell out. He'll put the in-swinging corner in. Amati gets the run. Abraham keeps it in. Becker edge of the box to Amati. He can hit them. Oh, it's off the... A lot of the fans thought that was in. Daniel Amati with another good effort. We know he's got the power behind his shot. Abraham elects to keep it in. I think it might have been a corner. This is a good ball from Becker. Found Amati edge of the box. Couldn't quite get the curl he needed. Roster over this one. And he's going to look to float it in. Loftus-Cheek battling for the position in the box. Wins the header over Fontaine. Left foot finish there from Abraham. Angelino can't get there to the rebound. That tactics always work well for us. Ruben Loftus-Cheek so dominant in the air in those positions. So it's a double change here at the end of the game. Kieran Dow coming on as a striker. Both strikers on, 2 strikers off. Forster goes long, but again we've got the match-up between Loftus-Cheek. Kieran Dow will receive it in the box. He's taken out there. Oh my God, there's some horrible challenges in today. We've got a good few options though for this free kick in a dangerous position. Kieran Dow got there ahead of Fonte. It's very central. We've got Angelino who can hit him. This looks like it would be the right side though for De Jong. Can we get him a goal? This would be good because he's not had a great game. This is a perfect position here. If I can get this right, this should be a goal. This could be a goal here. De Jong over the wall. Oh, not enough curl on it. Can't believe that. Got the right height. Dowell can't get the ball through though to Fred Friday in this game. Nearly done. Probably was our last chance to grab the 3 points here. And it's going to be a disappointing dropped points here. Hopefully not more than that. As Jay Rodriguez brings it inside to Shane Long. Who chips it in. It's a lovely ball to Højbjerg. Gabriel gets there. Straight played out into De Jong. Friday into Dowell. Looking for options here. He's got the overlap on and he's found him just about. Ball inside to Rossiter. Oh, Fonte with the huge challenge. As he's done all game, but the ball's still live here. Oh, no, you're kidding me. Oh, somehow he still got it. Got one roll of the dice here as Angelino puts the ball in. Looking for Fred Friday, the header. Wide from Van Dijk, who's been an absolute mountain at the back today. Alongside Fonte. Well, we're just going to have to gamble it all on this corner. It's De Jong over this one. We need a good delivery. We're 1 minute past the 5 minutes of extra time played. De Jong puts it into the box. Friday's got to run this man. The header's there. It's wide. Fuck's sake. 2 points dropped here massively at Ashton Gate. The stats are not going to make for good reading here. I feel like we didn't take our chances when they appeared. Yeah, we had 12. Well, we didn't trouble the keeper anywhere nearly enough. Still only 1 shot allowed for Southampton, and that was that fucking mistake at the beginning. Absolutely livid. Loftus-Cheek did have a good game in the midfield. Gabriel with the mistake, though. That Gabriel Gomez. Oh, dear. Forster grabs the 7, as rightly he should. He made some good saves. And with that, we drop unceremoniously off the top of the league, pushed aside by Arsenal and Liverpool. Not good. Not good. But still, the season is very young. So only 3 days later, and we're up against Arsenal, and we're going to the Emirates as well for this one. I feel like we're due a dramatic improvement soon. We did have a look at Dolberg and Zivkovic. We wanted to see how much money we get off them. We've negotiated successfully, so we'll check that out. We've also had the scout come back. I'm pretty much done, I think, with looking for strikers. So we'll see what comes up from this. We have a 76 rated Italian striker who's come in. Simeone. 23-year-old from Genoa. Ooh. Oh, hello. This is going to put the cat amongst the pigeons. He's pretty tall, but once again, like Boye, he's not massive. But he's great with his head. Good finisher. Good passer as well. I'll definitely be interested to see his stats alongside Boye. He doesn't have the strength that Boye has, but he's a bit quicker, quite a bit quicker. He's definitely worth adding to the list. How much do they want for him? 7 million. He could be a little bit more expensive, but that's a good bit of scouting there. No, nothing there in England that we haven't seen. And from the Netherlands, Cassiera, we already know about him. Don't think we're interested. And then Haller would be great. Look at him, 83 finishing. Great with his head. Unfortunately, can't sign him until next season, but we'll put him on the list just in case we do need to go back and look at him. So nothing too impressive there. I think we probably have maxed out what we're going to get in terms of strikers. So we're going to switch this up quickly. We're going to look in the Netherlands again for a second striker. Hopefully that will bring us back an attacking midfielder as well, potentially. So we'll look there for that. I think in England we're going to look for a left back, which we do need the cover for Angelino. So we'll just check that out. Still developing as usual. Reject as usual. And then we need a centre-back. And where better to look for that than Italy? Of our 3 potential scouting locations, that's easily the best one for a centre-back. So see what we do with that. And then let's take a look and see. So Boye, we know, 4.1 million. Absolute steal. Zivkovic, they want 5. Dolberg, they want 4.2. Dolberg, I think, would turn into a really good player. The only maybe slight problem with Boye is that his finishing isn't that great. Both Zivkovic and Dolberg, 75 or over in terms of finishing. Boye also not that quick, but he's got a lot of other stuff going for him, which I really like. I think I'm going to put a bid in for Simeone. There he is. Oh, we can look at these two next to each other very nicely here. So let's compare Boye and Simeone. So Simeone, definitely a better striker. Actually, the passing is pretty similar. Passing is very similar. Simeone, a much better finisher than Boye. Better header of the ball. Can't kick it as hard, but he's a little bit quicker. Doesn't have the physical contact or the body control. He's lacking in body control. That would be concerning, maybe. I think they're very close. We'll have a bid in for Simeone, see what happens with that. We've been offered 5.3 for Gomez, which at this point, after the last game, we'd be considering taking. But I still think there's a lot more to come from the youngster, so I don't think we want to sell him yet. We've got a few people interested in De Jong. I think we might ship him off, especially if our scouts come back with a better option. Right, let's get on to the next game. So hopefully the form will be a bit better. It was a bit poor in the last game. Oh, Tami Abraham on a downward arrow. Well, don't fancy that. So we'll go with Roberto and Friday up front today. Kieran Dowd back in. I think we missed him in the last game. De Jong, even on a blue arrow, just not good enough. Everyone else, Magnussen's looking tired. We do need that centre-back up when we can get it. So up against an Arsenal side that have traditionally not been very dangerous. And they've got no Ozil, no Cazorla. Walcott and Iwobi all on the bench. Giroud starts up front, but they do have Alexis Sanchez, always one to watch out for. But they're playing as a left midfielder. I'm sure he's higher rated than 81 by quite a bit. So I don't know why Arsenal are always so shit in PES, but they very rarely do well. I'm sure there are some Tottenham coders somewhere who are making this happen. But the good thing is we get to play at the Emirates today. What a stadium that is. I've been there a couple of times as an Arsenal fan. I've sat somewhere roughly in the stratosphere, I would say. Above cloud level at least. It was pretty much like watching PES actually, except for the players were smaller. But an incredible stadium nonetheless. So, nearly 20 minutes in and it's been a pretty boring start to this first half. No real chances as Kieran Dowd takes the ball wide, but Coquelin gets a good challenge in on him and loses out. That's poor. Giroud plays it inside to Lucas Perez and Marty with a good challenge. And that's... oh, mistakes all over the pitch now. This is not a good game of football here at the Emirates. Alexis Sanchez now. Lovely ball in, looking for an Arsenal man. Doesn't find anyone, and that sort of sums up this half so far. Missed passes, no chances. Goes down the line into Loftus-Cheek, who's found a bit of space here. He can whip a ball in. Friday's in there, jumps. Mustafi does enough. That's going to get all the way out for a throw at the other side. Truly, this has been one of the worst games of the season. Dow sees the overlapping Angelino. Looks to cross it first time on the volley. Loftus-Cheek gets there. Check with some strong gloves. That's about as good as we've managed so far. Nice wide ball there into Angelino. Steps inside. Angelino, good running. Runs into trouble though. We're just trying too much. Both sides overplaying in the extreme here. Well, that is one of the worst halves of football we have ever seen in Master League Story Mode. Not a single shot on target from either side. And 75% pass completion from Bristol City is a fucking disgrace. Absolute disgrace. So to say we need better would be an understatement. We need to get the midfield 4 doing some passing in the centre. It's a good start as Loftus-Cheek takes it and then finds Dowell again. Just to slip it through. Oh, it's fluid football, but we couldn't find the final pass. Marty gets something of a challenge on that, but still Alexis Sanchez has it. It gets away from Marty again. Good ball inside to Perez. Everyone drops off there, but Perez shoots wide. Oh, I don't know what happened there. That would have been a really disappointing goal to give away. Marty somehow couldn't quite get it back off the Chilean. And Magnussen decided to get out of the way. Thankfully, Perez's shot was wide. That would have been an embarrassing way to go a goal down here. We are not playing well. Angelino now, into Friday. Just about manages to muscle his way through. He looks over the top for Roberto, but that's not exactly Friday's strong suit. Who do you think you are, Fred? You are not Andrea Pirlo. Why are you trying to float balls through the centre? Get your fucking big body in the box and just stay there. Here is Friday now. That's a decent ball out to Dow. Slips it into Amati. Daniel Amati with the effort, and it's wide. What are you doing there, Daniel? Again, players in the wrong position. Should have finished that, though. Dow inside to Loftus-Cheek. He turns away from Coquelin. Scoops it in, looking for Robertha. That wasn't the ball we wanted. Lovely challenge, though, there. Robertha's losing. Oh, come on. This is tight. This is really tight. Becker into Loftus-Cheek, given time to get a cross in, whips it in, looking for Fred Friday. He's got away from Bellerin, and he heads it back across Czech's goal, and he's on the mark today when called upon. We've not seen much from Fred Friday in recent games, but we've seen that happen before. Loftus-Cheek is a very good crosser of the ball. He was given way too much time there, and Fred Friday in the physical battle there, I think with Lauren Koscielny, he came off better. And we go a goal up here. I think it was deserved. It was Hector Bellerin. Yeah, he was never going to be able to beat the fridge. Ball inside to Welbeck. Lays it off to Sanchez. Everyone stands off him, but Gomez with a big tackle. And then he brings it away. Nice ball inside to Robertha. Gomez has continued his run. Robertha tracking him. Gomez now into the box. Joe Gomez, can he finish here? No, he can't, but Fred Friday will. On the rebound, Joe Gomez looking to make up for the big mistake in the last game, which cost us the 2 points, really. But there we've seen from Joe Gomez, he does have some attacking ability to his game. And once he'd handed the ball off after a good intercept, he kept running, and Robertha waited for him, waited. Gomez into the box. At this point, he only had eye for goal. Maybe the first touch, second touch was too much. Czech got the save in, but Fred Friday was there for the poacher's finish. And that's 2 for Friday, 2 for Bristol. And hopefully now we can see this one out with only 10 minutes left. Joe Gomez maybe atoned slightly for his mistakes in the last game. But so far this episode, my word, it's been poor quality. I'm really sorry. I did not have any sleep last night, if that helps. Maybe that's why we're playing so badly. Arsenal, no shots on target. Just poor quality all round, really. But a 3 points is important as it takes us back to the top of the league. It's a draw and a loss. Arsenal were, obviously, that was a top of the table clash. Arsenal are normally doing so badly, I'd discount them from that ever being an important game. But that was an important game. And Liverpool drew as well. That sees us climbing 2 places again, back up to the top of the table, where we deserve to be. Right, to finish off this episode, we're going to need to be playing a lot better. We've played to an incredibly low standard so far in this episode. But this is a massive Champions League game. If we win this, then this puts us in a much stronger position in the group stages, because we're not looking great at the moment. There was always going to be some tired legs because we've played a lot of games in a very short space of time. Strikers not in good form. No one on the bench really worth tapping into. Slightly concerned with the Martys and Magnussen's fatigue. Oh, there's not much we can do really than just play with this side, but this is not looking very good. Griezmann again starts on the bench, which is good for us. And obviously that ridiculously strong back line, which we've got to go up against. Not going to be helped by Abraham and Friday's form on a downward arrow. Let's get into it. So it's not often that the odds seem so stacked against us as they do today. We're on a run of pretty poor form really, although we haven't lost in a long time. The last 2 games have been anything but convincing. We come into this one with a very tired squad and low form really. So you've got to say that these poor performances are affecting the positivity of this side. Ian Holloway, I'm sure, will be trying to hype them up in the changing rooms. Just reminding this side that we're inviting one of Europe's top sides to Heaven's Gate, to Ashton's Gate, for a massive Champions League showpiece. If there's ever a time that this young squad, let's not forget this is a squad that's won the league, if there's ever a time for them to play well, it is now. We're floundering a little bit in the group stages, and a win against Atletico Madrid would put us in a great position for our games against Feyenoord and Club Brugge to come. Loftus-Cheek, ball into Becker, gets there ahead of Luiz. That's great play there from the youngster. Puts a chip ball in looking for Abraham. Jimenez gets a really good header on it. It's out now to Becker. Does well just about to find Loftus-Cheek. Cheeky there from Loftus-Cheek, and he can whip a ball in. Friday with the header. Side netting. Again, it was almost Loftus-Cheek into Friday, as we saw in the last episode. Becker out to Dowell. Dowell gets it out of his feet. Koke with a big challenge. Out only as far as Amati. Looks for the deft chip into Abraham. Juanfran gets a good head to it. Roster from long distance gets the shot in. Moya can only push it wide. And then it's cleared wildly. Gaitan won't be able to keep that in. Bristol City, the home side, coming out here with a good deal of pressure, but that is an awful throw. Fernando Torres. Good turn there from Torres. Finds Partey. Oh, that's nice defending there from Joe Gomez. He's definitely a cultured player, as you saw in the last game going forward, but that was a great touch. That's allowed us to launch the break. Angelino takes it in his stride. He's got Juan Fran with him. Spaniard on Spaniard. He looks to take on Godin as well, which is maybe a bit of a tall ask. Dowell now into the box. Hits it with the right foot. Why didn't you hit it on the left, KD? That sat up so nicely. Angelino takes on Juan Fran well, but Godin gets across, but it's a very unconvincing clearance. Sat up perfectly for Dowell. Surely hit it with the outside of his left. Oh, it's a lovely ball through, looking for Carrasco. Angelino's let him get away. Fernando Torres with the finish. And Atletico Madrid off to a great start here at Ashton Gate. And Fernando Torres seals... Well, I don't know how this attack happened. That was a lovely reverse ball. Angelino floundering. Carrasco good ball in. Magnussen very slow to respond. Dowell's made a good run, but we go down the line looking for Abraham. Edge of the box, Kieran Dowell gets it out of his feet. The curling effort, oh, it's an amazing goal. Kieran Dowell on the biggest stage. Shows us what he's got. Shows us some of that talent that maybe we've not seen enough of this season. I know we said that, and then he had that great run of form. He's dropped off in the last couple of games. We've not seen much from him, but this was really good play. Tami Abraham, this is a lovely ball inside. It's straight out of his feet, and then he wraps his left foot around it. That gifted wand of a left foot. He's curled that beautifully. Oh, keeper couldn't get anywhere near it. Gomez bringing it forward again. Oh, what a ball through to Loftus-Cheek. He squares it to Rossiter. Little chip ball in, looking for Fred Friday. Will it be? Oh, it's an incredible goal. Absolutely liquid football here from Bristol City. And that is one of the goals of the season. One of the team goals of the season in the Champions League. Oh, Joe Gomez starting the move from the back. What a ball there was in the build-up there. This ball from Gomez through to Loftus-Cheek. Absolutely brilliant. And he squares it to Rossiter. Little outside of the boot. Flick into Friday. And that's his third goal in 2 games. And he took that one very confidently. Love that ball from Rossiter. We know he's got the passing ability, Jordan Rossiter. He's got the stats. We just don't see him using it enough. He's does a lot of the hard running in the midfield. We don't see him with those sort of Hollywood passes very often, but he does have that in his locker. Let's go Madrid. A little bit more pressure here. I don't think they expected to be behind. Angelino clears well. Abraham with a nod on into Loftus-Cheek. He'll look to put it down the line into Fred Friday, who should get there ahead of Diego Godin. He has got the strength to see him off. Low ball in, looking for Rossiter. Could fall anywhere here, and it has fallen to Jordan Rossiter, who's having an exceptional game. The captain is really pulling out a good performance today when needed. Tami Abraham just put his arm in his mouth. That was odd. But yeah, I mean, he obviously put in the yards there to get... It was a pretty fast-moving counter-attack. You can see Rossiter battling to get into the box. Fred Friday puts his shoulder down. You know he's so good in those situations, shoulder to shoulder. And yeah, it was a bit fortunate that it fell to Jordan, but it was a good goal. Well, what a turnaround here. 3-1 at Ashton Gate. We said we could have nothing less than a win today. And it looks like Bristol City could be on track for that. Angelino, nice ball into Loftus-Cheek. Looks to chip it into Abraham. Big mistake there from Godin. Abraham couldn't quite get the shot in. And there we go, half-time here at Ashton Gate. We did not expect this scoreline after going a goal down, but we came back so strongly, and it's 3-1 here to Bristol City. This is the performance we needed. 3 shots on target, 3 goals. We'll take that. 61% possession. Atletico Madrid welcomed to the southwest of England, and then embarrassed here at Ashton Gate. Oh, stylish play there from Gomez, who's been brilliant today. Lovely outside of the boot flick into Becker from Kieran Dowell. Ball into Abraham, takes it down on the chest. Becker back to Loftus-Cheek. Goes into Dowell, the 1-2's gorgeous. Loftus-Cheek into the box now, fires in the low cross. Friday jumps for it, Boye with the incredible save. On the line, could have been 4 there easily. Long ball in, looking for Friday. Gets the head down into Kieran Dowell, hits... Oh, what a goal that would have been for KD. Just to absolutely put the cherry on top of the cake for an incredible performance. The knockdown, and he's hit that so well. Only denied by the post. Matthews puts it high into the Bristol sky. Fred Friday will get the knockdown, and Dowell again hits it with the snapshot. But that is full time here at Ashton Gate, and it's a historic win against one of Europe's finest sides. And they were brushed aside in the end. They started well, obviously. Then Bristol City kicked it up a gear, and we saw some great goals in that game. It's one of the definitely a good antidote to the first 2 games of this episode that were very, very poor. But yeah, that was it. Made almost made it worthwhile. So if you've made it to the end of the episode, well done, and you were rewarded with some excellent goals. Kieran Dowell's especially I enjoyed. Good to see him back in form and grabbing man of the match today. But it was good performances all round, really. So there we have it, an important group stage win there for Bristol City. You go top of the group, lovely stuff. But we needed that because, as you can see, fine order and 9 points. So we need all the wins we can get at the moment. So we've got a lot of players becoming protégés. Simeone, he's come back. We've had an offer for De Jong as well. Interesting. Let's take a look at these before the end of the game, and then you can give me your opinions in the comments. So Simeone, they want 6 million. So that'll probably end up being 5. We could totally do that. We've got a pretty decent selection of strikers to choose from here, all with their own positives and negatives. Boye, obviously we like, but his finishing maybe not that good. Zivkovic, good finisher, probably no different really in terms of stats to Roberta, so not really worth the investment. Dolberg, a little bit of everything. He's cheaper, but not for me. Simeone, maybe the only one that could push Boye to be our decision. Great header of the ball. He's quicker. Not as strong, but he is a good passer, and that is what we wanted. And he's a much better finisher than Boye. 23 years old as well. So that's something to think about. And then also, it looks like we could ship De Jong on for 7.7 million from Gremio. Wow. Wow. We could maybe push that up even more. Probably wouldn't take the risk. I think we'll take the 7.7 million. Absolutely bite their hand off. 1 million over his market value. A player who hasn't really played. I mean, he is an exciting youngster, so maybe we shouldn't let him go. Right. So there we go. I'm glad we actually got a little bit better towards the end of the episode. Didn't look good to begin with, but we've managed to pull something out of the bag. And now we're sitting pretty in both the league and our Champions League group. So everything's looking good. I'll see you in a bit.